What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Flying solo as of the moment. I think we got Tim following in here in a second. I know Jacob is taking care of some puppy problems as thoughts and prayers out to his little pooch up there. Make sure that little guy's doing good. He'll possibly hop in here a little later in the stream. We'll see if he makes it in. But hopefully everybody's having a great evening. I see everybody following in the chat, man. We got a herd in here. We got Jarrell Lee, too old for this. Chris N, AFAM in the house. We got, let's see, Blake B, United Bates. Everybody following in. Holmes MD1, good to see you, pal. Appreciate you making this part of your evening. All right, let's just jump into it, man. We got a couple different things to hit on tonight. We were kind of walking through social media earlier. We'll give Tim a second to get settled in here in a second, but thought this was cool. ML Football put out a tweet. You guys know they've been kind of running down their top at each position. I thought it was awesome. Zack Tom, obviously, on this list as the top 10 offensive tackles in 2024. Zack Tom makes the list at number 6. The fact that he was a 4th-round pick and making, pennies on the dollar compared to how he's performed on the field, absolutely awesome. Obviously, he's going to be a Green Bay Packer for a very, very long time. Hopefully, they can work out that contract sooner than later. And the sooner you do get it in, and hopefully it's team-friendly as much as it can be. The reality is Zack Tom deserves to be paid, honestly, the highest-paid tackle in the league. He's up next, and I'm not sure exactly who will be up this year as well. But that's just the way that works. The bar gets raised higher and higher each time, and whoever's turn it is. Now, he may end up being the highest paid tackle in the league, and then a month or two later, maybe a week or two later, obviously somebody could leapfrog him as well. But definitely worth every penny that the Packers are going to be giving him there at right tackle. And we've talked about a little bit this offseason. He could potentially play center as well. So we'll see what they end up doing there for sure. We got Tim joining us now. Tim, how you doing, big dog?
Doing great. I heard you talking about Zack Tom and paying him a lot of money, so I had to jump in,
Yeah, say, whoa. Let's hold up on giving him the checkbook. I'm hoping that we come away kind of like we did with Elton, where you looked up and go, that's a lot of money, but he's definitely not the highest paid lineman. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The fact that he's coming off of that rookie contract, here's the negotiating point in my opinion. He's got a lot of money that's going to be coming up. There's no doubt about that. But the Packers could franchise tag him, and this is, again, next year, right? We're going into the last year of his contract. But let's say they're trying to reach an agreement and they're too far apart. When you look at it from the player's perspective, you go, no, yeah, I'm going to hold out for more money. Okay, if you do that and they end up franchise tagging you, right? If they franchise tag you, yes, you get a good chunk guaranteed, but also you're missing out on even more guaranteed money that they may offer you where you go, you know what? I think I'll take the $60 million guaranteed, even though it's lower average annual value than I think I'm worth. That's a little more security long-term as opposed to, or I say long-term, more money in the bank right then, as opposed to the salary maybe not working out, because you get hurt or God forbid you have a career-ending injury, that type of thing. But the other aspect too, this year going into camp, they're going to look to get a deal done, right? Most likely they'll try to get that extension done then. If the player, let's say the Packers, I'm just throwing a number out there. Let's say the Packers offer him 4 years, $80 million with $50 million guaranteed. And he thinks he's worth $100 million over 4 years, right? Well, the Packers could go, okay, we'll just wait and franchise tag you next year. And now he's playing the entire year on that rookie contract that we talked about as pennies on the dollar. And then God forbid, Tim, you have some kind of major injury,
Yep.
and you never see that bulk of the money that they may have offered. You may not even sniff, the 4 years, $80 million with $50 million. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're going to be at this summer, and that's definitely one of the storylines we'll be hitting on the training camp for sure.
For sure, and I'm sure that Zack Tom and his representation are, they're probably thinking the same thing, right? And he doesn't strike me as the type of guy that's going to be greedy, or a me first guy. But at the same time, he probably wants to get paid, like all these young players want to get paid. And I think there's truth to what you're saying, we talked about cash over cap, or we talked about, it's the NFL. Guaranteed money is everything. Contracts aren't guaranteed. These players want guaranteed money. If you can give them more up front and more guaranteed and then spread things out and adjust the cap year to year, that's kind of the formula nowadays, So I don't think Zack Tom's going to be super greedy, but at the same time, I think he wants to get paid for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought you were going to get the Brinks truck on the horn, Tim. I wasn't sure because we've been calling for it all. We've been calling for it all year. So
they're still loading it up. They got those bags of cash,
like that Italian job, where they drop the truck into the tracks and then they're sliding the gold bars down. Yeah, I liked it.
Definitely. What do you think about this, Emilio? I mean, that's going to be coming up this summer, right? That's going to be a big talking point into camp, and hopefully he doesn't hold out of camp looking for that new deal. It's definitely a possibility, though, I think. I mean, and listen, you guys know how I feel. Ben Holden, you're out of control. You guys know how I feel, right? Like, I tend to side with the player when people dog them for holding out a training camp to get a new contract, but man, they got to get theirs, man. If you're willing to dog a player for that, then what you're doing is you're giving other human beings freedom to berate you about the money you're making at your job. And I'm not about that stance.
Who was it this year that got paid and then got hurt? Why can I not think? Got handsomely paid and then got hurt.
There's probably several. You talking about on the Packers roster?
No, I think it was a bigger name, but that's why. I mean, reason is just like that's why. I mean, you've fought your whole life, 22 years. You've given up 10 of them, 15 of them, just training, working hard. You don't get the late night 3 a.m. Xbox sessions, right? Like you're going to bed at 7, getting up at 4 to go to the gym for 2 hours. You know what I mean? So well deserved. Anybody that, there we go. Thank you, Chris. And
I'm trying to think of who was it. Was it Debo? Maybe? I think it was
Debo or Brandon Ayuk.
Or Ayuk. One of them.
It was Ayuk. It was Debo the year before, right?
And then got paid and then got hurt, but held out, right? And they were all upset. Hey, he's holding out. He doesn't want to play, dude. I mean, he's fought his whole life for that. If he didn't get that contract, he would have gotten paid pennies on the dollar, and he got hurt 2 weeks after, basically. So, everyone has to get paid if you're that kind of quality. If you're fighting to get to that level, then you might have to take a risk and put your body on the line to get that money. But if you've proven yourself, I think you're more than welcome to that money you deserve.
Yeah. Yep, agreed. 2-0 for this says AFAN blesses himself before he sneezes. That sounds about right, doesn't it? And he said he blesses himself and then talks to himself in the third person while he blesses himself. Right, Tim?
Yeah, he says Pat Mahomes loves AFAM. That's what he says.
There you go. It's already started.
You got him.
All right, let's see. Let me get back to Twitter before this gets off the rails. Too bad. Y'all got me cracking up already. I've already lost my place too here. All right, let's see here. I did want to point out 4th round pick 140 for Zack Tom. Goody Cook, no doubt about it. So here was I put a tweet out and somebody tagged me in the tweet. Remember when I broke down the statistics on Tucker Kraft and if he had gotten the same amount of targets as Brock Bowers and all that, right? You guys remember that? Well, someone had tagged me. I want to give a shout out to Cheeseheads Brazil, I think was the account. Okay. And, shout out to them. Go give them a follow. Obviously, it's, let's see, their exact Twitter handle is at CheeseheadsBR. So Cheeseheads BR. Go give them a follow over on X. But they had tagged me and gave me credit for running down those numbers. And then they had shared a video that Eli Berkovitz had shared. I thought, why not take a second here and just enjoy this little highlight reel of Tucker Kraft? And that's what it is. You guys can see that okay, right?
This play is burned in my memory. I love this. Let's watch this dart and this great catch one more time. I love it.
Absolutely. So here's obviously the seam shot. Jordan knew they were in cover 2. This safety knew exactly what Jordan wanted to do. I remember us breaking this down on Chalk Talk. So he's eyeing the 3, which is Tucker Kraft there in the tray set. Jordan knows he's eyeing it, and Jordan's like, you know what? If I can hold him just long enough, I'm going to throw a heater in here. 61 miles per hour in the next-gen era. It's the hardest thrown football in an NFL game, and it was by Jordan Love. Let's watch it here. First one right off the bat. Just burn that sucker in there. Bang.
That was on Bullock, right?
I think it was on
that USC safety. And he was talking trash right on X. He was saying that, he got burnt. Piss was hot. He got burnt. I don't know what to tell him.
Tell you, man, if you get a chance, just go back and watch Tucker Kraft's highlight reel. It was phenomenal last year. All right, here's
That was
another
an absolute missile from Jordan Love. I mean,
Oh,
60 plus miles an hour throwing a football, that's like a baseball player, throwing 100 plus on the mound kind of trajectory. That's incredible.
Definitely. All right, next play. I don't even remember what this is. We'll just walk through them. Here's a little play action. Oh, it's just a little RPO is what this is.
RPO
right?
flat. That is bread and butter college football play. Bread and butter. I
believe this is Tay Wicks out here too, fellas, if I remember correctly. Let's see. I think it is. Look at that block. And then Tucker said, here, just hold him right there. I'll blast him in the All right, here's a little Malik Willis action here. Hey, fam, really going to get
pump.
Ooh.
The only other quarterback that AFAM likes. He likes Pat Mahomes and Malik Willis. That's it.
There you go. Look at that little throw. I mean, it's a good anticipatory throw. Did I say that right, Emilio?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, man, it's a dangerous throw too. The late hands by Tucker there, phenomenal.
That's faith in the player.
Yep. Bang. Yep. Great throw, great catch there. Here's Malik again, little play action rollout. This is just an easy little drop it underneath. Look at that. Oh, my God. Tucker Kraft. Watch him again. Just shed off this DB. Remember what he said this year, Emilio? The rule is you can't let the first DB tackle you.
Cannot let it happen. If it does, you got to do push-ups or something. I remember that was far side of the field from where we were sitting. We were just getting hyped up, man. It was game time.
At this point, too, I think I was about 3 Captain Morgans deep.
The slushy ones. The slushy ones. It got him, dude. It sucked him right in.
Bro, I'm telling you, I had 3 of those, several bruchachas in 93-degree weather. I did not use the restroom one time. You guys, that's how hot it was. It was bad. So anyway, Tucker Kraft, that was a fun game to attend. I'm glad we went to that one for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, next play. I'm trying to think of what this is. So get a little bit of that circus music on this one, though. Watch this as we key it up here. Give it just a second. Look at that little zipper orbit play action. Oh, yes.
Another dime piece from J Money. I love it.
A little stiff arm. There's Tay Wicks. You see him again?
Mm-hmm.
All year long, boys. I know he didn't have
no rock.
But, man, I'm telling you, he did plenty of that this year.
The guy's engaged 60 yards downfield. You got to be happy about that. Out there, actively looking for work and actively helping him get downfield. It's just cool looking at it from a different angle. We're used to the sideline cam on all these, just watching it all come together.
Yeah, definitely. All right, here we are in the Rams again. A little cheap motion from Reed. Underneath, make that first one miss, baby.
Always.
Dang. He's a wrecking ball, dude. I love it. Now we're here. It's the Texans game. Look at this. First DB misses.
Second one takes the knees.
He's so violent, dude. Look, here we go. That's a backer, boys. Run right through his face for the first
right
down.
through his face. I love it.
Oh, what a throw by J Love. Do you see this? Somebody come look at this.
Another dart.
That is seriously.
That was right down the hash. I mean, just
quick release.
Margin of error 0. Like you're either perfect or you're picked off in that situation.
Definitely. Hey, fam, let us know in the chat what you think about these throws right here, man. What do you think? Just curious. All right, let's move it along. 3 minutes, man. I'll tell you, just straight.
This receiving it's tough.
Here we go, a little Y screen. Look at this. Underneath. Bang. Cutter. Malik Willis. Hey, fam, we'll talk about this one. Oh, yeah, here's the guy. They outrun the corner right there. Let's go. Cannot wait to see him next year. Here we go. A little tray set look like, or maybe it was a fake Sif leak. Tucker going down the field. Look at that, running through another DB.
Taking the knees.
Cool little play action. Reset underneath. Let's go. Inside the 1. Here we go. A little empty set. Nasty split. Oh, my gosh. I didn't realize Jordan threaded the needle on so many throws this year, man. Here we go, Tucker. Some more yak. That's where Kirby Joseph tried to blow that knee out like he does against all tight ends, wasn't it? Yep. Watch Kirby Joseph on this play. He got up ready to talk crap, and watch Tucker. Let's go.
That's a missed tackle there, Kirby. Sorry about that one, bud.
J-Love right here, boys.
That's me when they bring the double A gap bug, Clay. That's literally all I do. I'm turning and burning. Throw it as fast as you can.
Look at Tucker here, man. Just boxing out, right? You're playing basketball right there. Love to see it. Great grab. Man, what a hell of a highlight reel from Tucker Kraft this year. We go again. Make that first guy miss, baby.
And really, there's only been what? A
that's-
handful, 3 maybe throws where Jordan Love's really, really under pressure. I mean, the O-line's done well. I'm happy. Besides Sean Ryan right there getting absolutely just walked back into him.
But you notice on these, though, Jordan's being decisive, and he's looking at a read. It's not there, and he dumps it to Tucker, and it's yards after the catch like we always see. Look at this. No hesitation. Get it out. Get it quick.
Right.
When you see him patting the ball and hesitating to throw that check or that second or third read, it's when we have problems.
This is what I love about this play. Watch Sean Ryan gets blasted back into Jordan. He's just going to throw a sidearm around him.
Yep. No problem.
This is my favorite part right here. Look at Devondre Campbell. Like, I ain't want none of that smoke.
Oh, he still had his jersey on then? That's crazy.
Look at all his buddies laying around on the ground, too. You got to love it, right? There's literally 4 Niners end up on the ground. Can't get it back to the right frame there. This guy ends up on the ground, too. And just look at Devondre's like, yeah, I ain't going over and tackling him. All right, just a couple more here. Play action. Little dump, another Y screen underneath. That's a go-to play this year, boys.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're left corner there. Right, Tuck ran right at us.
Duval.
Love it, boys. Just want to take a second and bask in the glory of Tucker Kraft's highlight reel. Obviously had a hell of a year, man. So much fun watching him play football. Can't wait for it next year. Anything else you guys want to add to the Tucker Kraft talk there before we move? Well, first of all, I think actually we've got this we could share. Someone, I think what it was I had reposted my old tweet. It popped up during that feed right there when we were watching that. Circled all these cats on the ground, and Devondre Campbell like, nope, ain't happening. So there you go. Must see TV. That's right. Forklift certified. All right. This is a very, very interesting tweet. Emilio, Tim, we got to come up with something for the board, okay? It's that time of the year. I know it's Lion season, but more info is better than less. Draft guy Jarrett got a hell of a mustache, let me tell you. And that's part 2.
That is pretty neat.
Give him a follow at Draft Guy Jarrett, all right? At Dane Brugler, adding some context to the, quote, character concerns of the 3 defensive linemen expected to be drafted in the first round. Paraphrase. First, James Pierce Jr., quote, what makes him tick is the knock there. Look at Tim. I came for Tim's reaction here tonight. I came to the show tonight to see Tim's reaction to these.
I'm assuming what makes him tick is playing football and cashing checks like everybody else, right?
Maybe that might have something to do with it. So James Pierce Jr., the knock on him is, quote, what makes him tick? Emilio, should we put something next to his name on the draft board? I think I'm voting.
Yeah, run the card up if he's there at 23 is what we need.
Put a little running man on there.
Put the little clock next to him. Yeah. What makes him tick?
All right, so we're not going to put anything there. Now, here we go. Mike Green, incident at UVA before transferring. So this is kind of like – that's a great question, Tim.
Yeah, what's the incident?
Would be nice to know, right? I'm going to Google search it here. Emilio, based off the lack of information we have there, should we put some kind of red mark on Mike Green there based off that information?
Currently, I'm going to have to say no. We have absolutely no information on that. But
you think God never farted?
It's exactly what I was thinking. So I mean, you have a run in here and there. You never know. Let's see.
I mean, they call anything an incident nowadays. He could have got into a fender bender on campus or something. Could have had a little bumper scrape in the parking lot, and that could have been an incident.
Did you pull up that 24/7 sports article?
I did not. Did you?
Yeah.
Go ahead, what you got, man? Read it.
What they said on this was back in 22, I believe. Virginia head coach Tony Elliott was talking. He said about Mike Green, he's just no longer with the team. That's all I'm going to leave that with, said Elliott, who declined to elaborate further on the reasoning. Mike Green, he's a guy who's aggressive, loves to take care of the details, and frankly, he's fun to coach because he's got a lot of energy. John Rosinski had said during fall camp, Mike's made great strides and continues to get a little bit better every day. But it literally all he said is just he's no longer active with the team. That's all the head coach said.
Gotcha. This is what I'm seeing here, okay? It says, this is Brett Coleman on Twitter. Shout out to him. Don't know him, but shout out to him. There was an incident early in his college career that caused him to get dismissed from Virginia, and there still has not been a whole lot of clarity about what actually happened. I imagine the teams and league have done enough due diligence on it to send the invite, talking about for the combine. And then someone responds, said, any sort of indication what the incident was? And Brett Coleman says, I don't have enough information to confidently speak on it. So
Right, if you got to dig that deep, it's a nothing burger.
You would think so, right? Like if it's a potential DUI, he got out of a DUI, or he hit somebody, or it was abusive in a relationship, something like that, we would have information on, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like anything as crazy as half the crap we see from players that are already in the league. We'll just leave it at that.
I'm gonna use a term here, okay? And I don't want anyone to take offense to it. I just want to put into focus the person who tweeted this out. I want you to understand what kind of human being he may be, okay? So I'm going to read the tweet, and then I'm going to tell you the name of that Twitter account that said it. There are very loose and unsubstantiated rumors that it's related to a sex crime. Let me be 100% clear that right now they are nothing but weak rumors. Handful of people claiming they have sources without any primary sources or evidence emerging publicly.
BS alert. If it was a crime, there'd be court reports. There'd be, FOI requests, all of that. We'd have facts.
Tim, throw the flag on that play call, man. We're just not.
And there would at least be a police report, right?
Something. So yeah, I'm not buying it.
Are you guys?
Or at
ready
least not writing this guy off and saying we don't want to draft him based on this,
So are you guys ready for that Twitter handle? And again, no one take offense to this, okay? I just want to put into perspective who this was. His Twitter handle is retardism_2.
Don't put that name in my mouth right there.
That's the person that claims someone else has an issue.
That's the problem with
Don't you do it, Tim. Don't you dare talk about my internet, Tim. There's nothing wrong with my internet.
All you got to do is say something, and all of a sudden, guys' draft stock plummets for no reason.
This is what we're talking about. We talked about with James Pierce Jr. Is like this time of the year, and this isn't my opinion. This isn't Clayton making this up and firing from the hip, right? This is simply Michael Lombardi, former GM. Daniel Jeremiah has talked about it on the Move the Sticks podcast over the years. I've listened to him for over 10 years now, it seems like. I want to say it was around 2012, 2013 I started listening to him. So this is what they say. Teams will put stories out there to drop the stock of a player so they can get them, or maybe force a team, or at least raise a question to a team that, hey, is he a risk if we take him? That way they can leapfrog teams and grab them. And I'm telling you right now, you think, well, teams are smarter than that, Clayton. They can't fall for it. We talk about cluster busters, do we not, boys? Cluster busters on the board. You got a horizontal board. You got several prospects there. Mike Green could be at the top of your board.
Yeah.
And right below them in the same tier, a couple other players, maybe even an edge defender. You go, man, the grade's close. He has a better grade, but it's within the same tier. Remember they had that issue we didn't have all the information on? Yeah, let's take it. Let's bypass him. That's the value in dropping those stories, right? So there you go. My vote is don't put anything next to his name either. What do you boys think?
Yeah, I agree.
What's wrong with you, Emilio? You got a problem in here tonight?
Greg Rice over here just with the zinger. Too old for this. That there would be at least a public allegations, aka Justin Tucker. I think that's completely fair. If there really was something, you're going out and stating it for a fact.
Yeah, definitely. So again, Mike Green seems like rumors.
Pass on both the first two.
Still high on my board. I'll take them.
Yeah, if you want me to put a little button on them, I'm not doing it yet.
Yeah. Walter Nolan. This is great detail here from Draft Guy Jared. Different reports from A&M and Ole Miss.
What reports are we referring to, and how are they different?
You're asking too many questions, Tim. Okay.
I'm asking important questions.
What are the reports you're talking about? we've got to trust draft guy Jared here. This is on the internet, Tim. It's got to be true. Emilio, you got anything on this A&M and Ole Miss report here?
From what AI told me, said Walter Nolan's a D lineman, Texas A&M, was involved in an NCAA recruiting violation and transferred to Ole Miss. So it looks like the violation was from former Tennessee coach Jeremy Pruitt. It resulted in the Vols' 5-year probation. Said that A&M's coaching change was a major reason for his departure. He also said that the family environment at Ole Miss he wanted to be cultivated was a big part of the decision transfer. And Nolan issued a PSA on social media to Texas A&M recruits, urging them to read their contracts thoroughly. So
I'm still drafting him if he's on the board. He
said it looks like one of the coaches left. One of the A&M coaches left to go to Syracuse, and he said that he didn't really like that coach left, and I guess that there was a recruiting violation between him and Tennessee, which is how he left A&M, didn't get to Tennessee, and ended up at Ole Miss.
These are all nothing.
What does that have to do with him playing football? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's
like, how is that going to affect him playing football in the NFL?
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad we did this though, because this is all I've found so far, in terms of like, hey, there might be some negative, and listen, I want to make
here. Nolan sounds like a coach or organization getting upset that he left. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. And I want to say this too. I want to be very clear about how I feel about this. If there was a sexual assault or something with Mike Green, I don't want him on my football team. I want to be very clear there.
There was
evidence. There's zero evidence. Like there's nothing. So I know this. We'll keep an eye on him as he goes throughout his career. And if something pops up, we might revisit and go, hey, man, you know what? There were those rumors. There were signs.
Right.
You're real about it. But right now, man, there ain't.
So from the Clarion Ledger, website, Walter Nolan said, what really led me to leaving Texas A&M was former Texas A&M defensive line coach Elijah Robertson leaving to go to Syracuse. It wasn't really a tough decision, more so a tougher decision finding where I wanted to go. Then he said, playing against Ole Miss the past 2 years, seeing the family orientation they have around here, how they support each other if things are going back on the field. Even if things are going bad on the field, looks like they mistyped. That really opened up my eyes and made me say, this is the team I want to be with. And he also said, I did think I was going to be here in high school for a little bit, he said, but as I got older, that faded a little bit.
There you go. Chuck Goodman in the chat. More nothing burgers. It really feels like it. To me, it sounds like Walter Nolan wants to be in a good culture place, right?
After he was at Texas A&M, played against Ole Miss, realized that, hey, they have a little bit better culture there. I can tell that from the sideline, from on the field, talking with the guy you're going across kind of thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you, Clay, man. If there's something substantiated, that's a different story, right? If you can verify things, but we live in a day and age where people can just allege something or make a statement and all of a sudden your life is ruined. So I deal with evidence and facts. So if we see some of that, then it's a different story, honestly.
Could not agree more, Tim. Couldn't agree more. All right. Some other good news, in my opinion, and that is good news to me that we couldn't find anything on those guys because, just the fact that people try to drag their name and not have anything substantial. And that's not a shot to any of the guys who tweeted that stuff out, right? Like no one said he's guilty of this, or it was
right.
It seemed like they were kind of pointing out the fact that, hey, there's nothing here, right?
Yep.
So John Eric Sullivan obviously been interviewing for the Jaguars general manager spot. You guys know he's kind of one of, if not the right-hand man to Brian Gutekunst in Green Bay. Well, the Jaguars are hiring James Gladstone as their general manager. So
Duval.
John Eric Sullivan is returning to the Green Bay Packers, it sounds like, barring any surprises. So I think that's great news for the Packers. Obviously, the thing that Goody said his biggest strength was, and I really respect this in people, is he said John Eric Sullivan was one of those guys in his group, his organization, his department, if you will, that he's willing to tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. He's he's not going to shy away from disagreeing to make sure that we make the right decision type thing. I'm paraphrasing, but that's a hell of a quality to have in the front office. But Tim, this is good news, right, man?
For sure. You don't want yes men, Yes men are only going to get you so far. You need someone to call it like they see it and tell you the truth, even if it hurts your feelings a little bit. So I love it. I'm glad that, he's staying in Green Bay. Thank goodness, for sure.
Yeah. About you, Emilio?
Yeah, super happy that he's back. Honestly, I was just kind of shocked. That dude looks young.
Yeah.
Craig.
Like Rice.
Greg Rice says, I don't trust someone who wears a sweater and a jacket. And that, I mean, that's pretty fair.
Greg S. says that's why we have AFAM.
Looks
There
like
you go. That's a very good point.
was saying here on Jaguars.com, Gladstone, the Rams director of scouting strategy the past 3 seasons, spent 9 seasons with the franchise. He was Rams director of scouting in 21, director of scouting strategy 19 and 20, and Rams senior assistant in 18. I mean, I guess I'll give him a shot, man. I don't know. He's been with the Rams. He's kind of going with – it's kind of funny how that works out, right? He ended up – they pulled him from the Rams, who was with Sean McVay, who Matt LaFleur's coached with. So you got the same maybe kind of coaching tree idea, and then the same different kind of playbook, same idea. And it's just wild how it all kind of worked out. You're going to pick from the Packers and the Jags to see where you want to take this team.
No, makes sense. Yeah. All right. Again, great news. John Eric Sullivan, as we know it right now, is returning to the Green Bay Packers. We'll let y'all know if something else changes there. Let's get into some draft talk real quick. That sound good, boys?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. So our boy Easton Butler, make sure you go give him a follow at Easton__Butler over on X. The Packers met with Minnesota Duluth offensive lineman Aiden Williams at the Shrine Bowl. Now, I went through and updated these, Emilio. You had a couple of them already updated, and I actually put a couple grades in for these guys too. So why don't we just kind of see where they're at real quick? I'll search them and let you guys know. So Aiden Williams, right?
Who?
What's that, Emilio?
I said I got him at 366, right?
Yep, 366. Now, we don't have anything on him other than the consensus big board, it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's 279 is where he was at. Is that right? So that puts him in the 366 spot for our board. Now, again, when you see the grade itself, it's not completely accurate from what I'm about to say, but you can just about look at that grade and go, that's kind of where they're worthy of being picked. That makes sense. So, like, if you see someone with a 23 grade, but he's our 32nd, best prospect, and I don't even know if those numbers would work out that way. I'm just using that as an example. The grade would suggest he might be worth, somewhere around the 23rd pick. But again, with some of the other bonuses we throw in, that changes a little bit as well. It doesn't have quite the same dynamic in comparing across the board with players who have bonuses and people that don't have bonuses in terms of like Senior Bowl, Greg Cosell bonus, things like that. But so looking at him, even though it says 366, he's 279 on the consensus big board. So
thick.
All right. Next player, Emilio, you ready for this one?
Ready.
We have linebacker from Georgia, another Georgia linebacker is Small. Is that how you would say it? Small? Smell? Well, ooh, that smell. Munden, right? Munden Jr. Tim got it. Emilio's too young, I believe. What do we got him?
I'm with you,
Munden Jr. there, Emilio. Where we got him at, man?
I don't have him.
Oh, we ain't got him on yet? Oh, no.
Well, I was just scrolling to the bottom. We are 499 on the board, so he's going to be the 50th edition.
There you go. I've got him right here. Here
or
we go.
500. Where is he?
He is at 233 on the board. I may have misspelled his name. No, we got his name right.
No, I spelled it wrong. That's on me.
All right, cool. So, obviously, the Packers have shown interest in him. We've got him in the 233 spot. He's got a grade of, let's see here. Is that the final grade we have here? I want to make sure it is. The grade on him is a 164.3. So, this is the perfect example. He's in the 233 spot, but his grade is 164.3. That would mean, might be worthy of the 164th pick. PFF 22 grade, he was the 439th graded linebacker. In 23, he dropped all the way to 577. In 24, he climbed all the way up to 208. PFF Big Board had him at 169. Consensus Big Board had him at 116. All right. So, again, 164.3 coming at the 233 spot. So, Goody and them, man, they've been meeting with some prospects. It's going to be a little bit lower on the board, man. Who knows? We might hit one of these late-round gems here, Tim. But Georgia, Goody's like, I don't care if he's one of the worst players on the team. We love those Georgia Bulldogs. Don't we?
Well, just rest assured, guys, we're not going to take them in the first round like we did last time with Georgia linebacker. Nobody get all upset or anything. We just had a meeting, right? Never know how the board is going to fall, but I think it's interesting to see that. And again, Easton Butler all over this stuff, man. Great follow. Like if you want the up to the minute stats on what's going on with the Packers and who they're meeting with, that's who to follow for sure.
Yeah. Anything you want to add to them there, Emilio? You got anything extra on them?
No, I like that we could, maybe go back and dip into the pot. But maybe more of a speedy guy. I'm excited to see. Got to watch a little tape.
Yep. So again, the big thing there for me with linebacker, and I know there's some people that think we don't need a linebacker. We got, however many on the roster. Like you got Edgerrin Cooper, you got Quay Walker, right? Let's say that nobody re-signs. So you'd have Tyron Hopper. Who else would you have at linebacker? Michael Barrett, I guess on the futures. I think he's still with the team. Is there anyone else you could think of at linebacker? So that's 4 linebackers, one of which could not make the NFL roster, right? And Michael Barrett. Guys, you need to have 5 linebackers in a 4-3 defense to make the roster out. Can you get by with 4? Sure. But if you have 2 injuries, now you're having to put a safety in that base defense to play linebacker. And if you're up that week against a run-heavy offense and all of a sudden you're down to 2 backers, you're screwed. So you need to have 5, in my opinion. That's why I'm thinking we'll go after 2 this year, personally. That way you don't have to, if Michael Barrett is on the futures, and he may not even be on the futures now. He may not even be with the team anymore. I haven't checked. But I'm treating it like we've got 3 linebackers on the roster, and we need 2 more. So I think that's why Goody's kind of combing through some of these late-round linebackers here in the draft for sure. So,
you also got
the other thing too is
drafted UDFAs. You can always snag a linebacker UDFA.
Definitely. The other thing too is like we don't know for sure if Quay's going to get extended. If I had to put money on it, I would say that he's going to get extended or he's going to get the 5th-year option. I think they like him a lot. You guys know I would disagree with that move, but I'm just saying I think the Packers probably will make that move. If that if that doesn't happen, guess what? These linebackers that you draft this year, whether you draft 2 or draft 1 and take 1 UDFA or try to find one in free agency, that could potentially be one of your starters moving forward. If you hit, if the right guy falls to the 3rd round or even the 2nd round and you look up and go, damn, this is our Edgerrin Cooper this year, right? They may pull the trigger on that, thinking long-term for the future. So
don't rule out an Eric Wilson resigning.
Exactly.
There's that possibility too.
Yeah, and I kind of that's the way I leaned was like re-sign Eric Wilson for special teams value. You reestablish that floor in the linebacker room. You let him and Tyron Hopper battle it out, and then if you have the right opportunity present itself in the draft, you draft a guy that's better than them. You just raise the entire linebacker room up just a touch, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Tim, we got us a receiver. We got us a receiver on the radar here, and if my calculations were correct, he's 6'2", so probably gonna get excited about this one.
He qualifies. All right, let's go.
Yeah, Easton Butler tweeted out Jeremiah Hunter. All right, the Packers, one of 9 teams to meet with Washington Husky wide receiver Jeremiah Hunter at the Tropical Bowl. All right, says the other 8 teams were the Titans. They sat down with him. The Patriots, Raiders, 49ers, Texans, Steelers. Ravens, I said Ravens, and Seahawks. That was a virtual meeting there. So that was per at Justin M_NFL. Do you know where he's at there, Emilio?
292, where we have
Oh, wow. Top 300. Let's go.
Yep. His PFF in 22 was 86th overall, PFF 23, 140, PFF 24, 377. So steadily getting, lower down on that scale. We don't have him on either big board, though. With an overall score brings him to 201.
Got it. All right. So 201. Obviously, you're looking at the last couple rounds, right, in the draft.
Yeah,
so
right.
Good stuff, man. Appreciate you looking that up for us there. All right, next on the docket, we got another. This is a DB here, all right? Easton Butler tweeted out the Packers met with Shorter University DB Johnny Davis at the Podium. I think I'm saying that right. Podium All-Star Bowl, all right?
Mhm.
The D2 prospect talked to scouts from the Packers and the Commanders and was sent contact info from the Colts. Can you find him on the board here?
He's on the board. He is our first person with absolutely no score at all. That lands him 477th.
Got it. So I looked up. I believe I looked up on PFF. I could not find any grade on him on PFF. I couldn't find anything, obviously, on any of the boards. So we'll
Probably
keep
also
him.
that D2 doesn't help either. Like,
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know where else you could go to get that.
Yeah, and we'll see, man. Maybe he got invited to the combine. Of course, he's not showing up on the consensus big board, which, by the way, if we get a chance here in a minute, we're going to hit the Patreon group. But the consensus big board have all the combine logos next to the players that are going to be participating in the combine. And really, the way you want to attack that is start at the top, work your way down, and figure out, okay, who's not going to the combine, and then do a quick Google search and go, okay, why did they not go to the combine? Okay, they're still battling injury. Look to put the red mark on. You know what I mean? We'll update the board in that regard as well. So, again, keep an eye out for Johnny Davis, defensive back. He's a D2 prospect meeting with the Packers. So we're all caught up there now. Matter of fact, that's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour two. We appreciate y'all.
Get ready to go.
Welcome now. Let's dive into some more chatter here. Let's go to the Patreon group real quick, and then if we got time, we'll go back and look at that consensus big board, see if we can run down some information in real time on why these folks may not be going to the combine. So first things first, here in the general chat, I wanted to hit on this and see if I can get organized here. Thought this was really, really, really interesting. Carly Ray in the general chat said on the Packers website, it suggests that stadium tours and the Hall of Fame still will be accessible during the draft. It makes sense. So many fans of the game will be in Green Bay. And I said, that's awesome. We need to do a group stadium tour. Emilio, you've never done a stadium tour, right?
That is correct. Yeah, I was too excited to get to 1919 that night. So I went upstairs, had a drink, ate some food, looked at the atrium, that was sweet. Saw the hall, got to go through the hall, see all the trophies and all that. I did not do any of that.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call tomorrow, and they may not be open, but I'm going to call the stadium tours department, and I need to make a note. If you guys would remind me tomorrow when you wake up, shoot a text to the group and go, hey, Clayton, call about the stadium tours. I'm going to see if that information is accurate, and if it is, see what we need to do about a group stadium tour, okay? And here's how that would work, guys. If anybody wants to go on a stadium tour, what we're going to do is open that up to the Patreon group. And we're going to ask everybody in the Patreon group, hey, would you like to attend a stadium tour with us? If that's the case, and we'll try to set up a date and time to make it work just perfect for everybody where it won't interfere with the draft too much. Maybe maybe Friday before the draft gets going, like early Friday, everybody meet up, go to the stadium tour, because obviously it'll be Thursday night round one, Friday night round two. Is that how that works?
2 and 3, I believe.
2 and 3, and then Saturday will be the obviously the remainder. So let's see here. Carly Ray says their website says that hours for the Hall of Fame and stadium tours will be released closer to the event. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is call and try to get information on, hey, will you be doing group sales? If that's the case, what I need to do, what we'll probably do, Carly, if you guys will remind me in the chat, I'll create a separate chat and just let everybody know this is potential stadium tour group event. And anyone who's interested, let me know. Now, obviously, I'm not going to front the bill and then get stiffed on 13 people not showing up. So we'll work it out to where maybe we could set up a group PayPal or something to put it into an account and then pay it all at once, that type of thing. We'll have a deadline, all that. That would be – I think that might be the ultimate meetup right there, boys. Is everybody
– That would be wild.
Meet and greet.
Because I still want to walk. You can walk the tunnel in that, right? You can still go down and see the field and do all that and see all the trophies. Yeah, I need to do all. Honestly, I didn't even see the front of. I didn't even see the front of Green Bay. Like I went in the pro shop, saw that night. Then the next morning, I came in from the grass on the backside, so I didn't even see the front of the stadium or anything.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tim. You going to say something, bud?
No, I was just wanted to read Greg Rice's. I want to see AFAM try a Lambeau leap. It'd be tough when he's hanging out at Arrowhead the whole time.
Yeah, that is tough.
We'll have to Skype him.
That Kelsey jersey is going to have a lot of drag on it when you're jumping. But.
Unbelievable. All right. Let's see. We had something else here in this group or no? Oh, here we go. I thought this was interesting. Greg S. says, can Emilio hide a GoPro in the sombrero and live stream the tour? Can we make that happen? I don't know, man. I hear they got a pretty solid ice department up there. We got to be careful.
Sit your butt outside.
That's exactly what they say. Right outside the country. It's going to be a zoo. LOL setting up a future group tour at Lambeau would be awesome. So everybody seems to be on board there. Chris N threw out some interesting facts there. Said they are only projecting 240,000 people to the Green Bay draft. Detroit has 775,000 on a projection of 400,000. Big underestimate. That's wild. They underestimated 375,000. That's crazy. So
yeah, but there's conflicting numbers on that though.
Is it
240 might be per day? So multiply that over 3 days, and you get your net result.
So what do you, Tim? Do you think there'll be more people show up this year to the draft than Detroit, or do you think because Detroit's a big city? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot more population people.
Yeah, but their team is ass, and so is their town. So. I mean, we have the history factor. We are the cathedral of professional football here in Green Bay. So I do think that we'll have more people. Yes. I think the hype and the buzz, you got people that hate the Packers that would love to come to Lambeau Field just to experience the mecca of football. So I think we will have more, but I'm just being a homer and talking crap right now, but I'll be honest. I think every single year since they left New York and they decided to go on this tour of every city, I think it builds year after year. So I don't think it's crazy to think that we'll have more people than Detroit. So
yeah, it looks like Chris was saying that 240 total was the number.
Yeah,
wow.
I think that's a little low, to be honest.
I do too.
Yeah, it probably was. Carly Ray says, yeah, but Green Bay is epic football country. I think there will be more as well. And that's the thing, too. Like, I've been to multiple games. I remember we went and watched them play, I think, the Eagles one year. It was either the Eagles or the Browns. It might have been the Browns. And we seen a couple Pittsburgh jerseys. And I just walked over to the guy and said, hey, my brother's a big Steelers fan. What are you guys doing here? And they're like, we just wanted to come see Lambeau. We've never been. He said, I've never been here. And the guy that was with him said, I'm a big Steelers fan. I've come to about 6 of these. This is the best place to watch a ball game. So, like, there probably will be people. It's a good it's kind of like Vegas, the Super Bowl, right? Hey, Super Bowl's out there. That gives us a reason to go to Vegas, right?
Yep.
They're having the draft in Green Bay. We've been wanting to see Lambeau. Why don't we go check it out for the draft, right? So,
I mean, I see that during just random days going up to the area and going to the pro shop and stuff like that. You'll see fans from, every team that just come to Green Bay to see Lambeau Field. Like if you're a football fan, you want to see Lambeau Field. That's probably on your bucket list for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Chris N said, I'm projecting $850K. That'd be awesome. That'd be absolutely awesome.
That would be wild.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
AFAM says AFAM is very specific about his grass. Would want a field tour too. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
He really is. He really is. All right.
He likes that zoysia grass is what he likes.
I have not pre-filtered these, so hopefully there's nothing inappropriate. Just diving into this for the first time. Here's questions for the show. Let's start with Todd Larson. Thanks again for sharing with us your board. It is great that more info is added as it becomes available. I was wondering if you could share the updated boards every other week or so to allow us to see the updated boards. I exclusively use your board for the mini mocks that I have been creating. I love that. Share those mocks with us in the general chat too, Todd.
You have a mock chat? You might as well just make a mock chat now before it gets out of hand.
Yeah, I was trying to wait on the mock chat because when we do our contest, and again, for our Patreon group, we're going to have everyone do one mock draft that they're going to submit, and whoever gets closest, we're going to be giving away a piece of memorabilia for that as the draft contest. So I was trying to wait, Emilio, so it wouldn't get kind of convoluted, but I guess I could create another one later.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do a contest one at the very end. Pick your best.
We need to do that. So, man, y'all give me all kinds of work. I love it.
Well, I just saw my job that I need to get the updated board out there. We need that new one with the updated number and all that. So I'll get.
I'm running out of Post-it notes over here.
Yeah, they're falling off the computer. I'll get working on that tonight. I'll get that out by this weekend for sure.
Yeah, J. Cole said, is it a mock for every team? It is not, Jay. It's going to be a 7-round mock draft for just the Packers, all right?
How dare you?
32 of them you got to go through.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering, was he asking, are we just going to do a first round you pick for every team type?
Oh, I got you.
But I could be wrong there. He may have been just clowning me here, and I don't think I'm too stupid to realize it. But what it's going to be to be specific. You guys tell me if I'm wrong, if we should do it different. I think we should do a 7-round mock. You make the picks for the Green Bay Packers, and whoever comes closest to getting it most accurate, that'll be who wins. That sound good to you guys?
I like it. Ish.
Gotcha. Yeah, Jay was right. Yeah, no, the first round. Got it, buddy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, we'll get that, Todd. We'll get that sent over here real soon, and Emilio will get on it. Randy Cleaver says, do you think we go after a corner in free agency or just draft one or two? You know, that's been a big discussion here. I've been listening to Ryan's podcast here lately, and he was kind of talking about it. You remember the Ryan Wood article there, Emilio, and it was kind of leading you to believe that we don't need a corner type thing. Right. I will say this, man. I'm not going to dog anybody specifically, but I could hear the frustration in Ryan's voice, and I'm siding with him.
Yeah.
Like when people cherry pick poopy, when they cherry pick things and try to cherry pick poopy, that sounds disgusting.
Heard it from a fan right here.
There you go.
When they cherry pick certain things to make it seem like it's to fit their whole narrative, man, that stuff, I want to say it bothers me, but I just tune them out. That's when they get removed from my list of these are the people I want to follow and try to get information from. You know, it's one thing to look at something from a certain angle and go, hey, you know, if you approach it this way, this guy didn't play as bad. But when you try to make it out like we don't need any corners because they played well here, or when you talk about the wide receivers, remember that, Emilio? It was like his shouldn't be doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. The numbers didn't match from an article that he put earlier in the year talking about Jordan Love's inaccuracy. And then all of a sudden it was, man, these receivers need to catch the ball better. And his accuracy numbers didn't match the numbers from earlier in the year that he was dogging Jordan on. It's like, come on, man.
Sounds like someone's got a future in politics if they want it.
There you go. So anyway, in terms of corner and free agency, you got to base it off a need first, right? I look at the cornerback position like this. You've got the floor. You know what you've already got on the roster, right? We don't know if Ja's going to be back. We'll have that answer here pretty soon, I believe. Okay. Hopefully we'll have that answer before the draft. Surely we won't let that carry over past the draft, right, Tim? Like we'll know.
We'll know in the draft if Ja's coming back or not. I feel if they take a corner in the first round, Ja would probably not be coming back. You know what I mean? Like they're going to tell us. Like they were talking on the GM Shuffle. It's like, all right, if the Titans take Abdul Carter, then they're fine with Will Levis, right? If they don't, then they're going out. They're going after a quarterback in those first couple picks. So
I would agree with that logic, but like I look at Randy's comment, and my answer is yes. It's like, do you think we go after a corner in free agency or just draft one or two? It's like all of those could happen, and I feel like whether Ja is here or not, we probably still sign a corner and draft a corner at the very least, whether he's here or not, right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think though, like if I was in Gutekunst's shoes, what I want to go into the draft was still uncertainty in the air for Jair.
No.
To me, I would want to have that question answered.
Yes.
Now, the question to having the question answered is, will we know the answer to that question? You know what I mean?
Probably not. We'll probably be sitting around looking like this guy.
That is true. That's such a good point. Such a good point, though, Clay. Like if he knows the answer, goes into the draft, we still don't know. And however he drafts, however it is, we still don't know. But he could know that entire time and be squared away. My thing is as of right now, Ja is still on the team. You know what I mean? Like he's contract. He is still playing for this team. If we were to suit up next week, like dude is under contract. That's been my pushback the whole time. Is like I know that there's talk of him being gone. I know he hasn't spoken. I know that there's a lot of smoke or it could be flames, but Right now he's still part of Packers.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, like when we get to the 25th, that's when it's like prime sweet spot for the restructures. If Jair's contract gets restructured, he's staying, right?
Yeah.
If they don't touch that contract, I'm probably going to press in, lean a little more on the other side of the fence. So he's probably gone. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Because when you look at the important dates from this perspective, I've got a screen grab here. And if you do cut him loose, right? If you do decide to cut him loose, when would that happen? And I think I've already deleted that one. I did. It was the Aaron Jones cut, right? They cut him on March 10th. They cut Zadarius Smith like a day or two before free agency opened, right? So if they don't touch the contract, they did not restructure those contracts during that offseason, which was kind of Aaron Jones caught us by surprise, obviously. That was one of those that Josh Jacobs fell right into place, and we decided to move on from Aaron Jones, which, by the way,
we'll always have that 25 minutes where they were both Packers.
And listen, I still would have loved to have had Aaron Jones for $1 million more. That was the thing they couldn't come to the agreement on. It was about some reported $3 million, some reported $1 million. The 1-2 punch of Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones, I think, would have been worth the money.
We could sign him now for like a little over $1 million, right? A couple million.
I'm saying, you never know. You never know. But my point is, if you could have had them both, great. But everyone needs to acknowledge now that Josh Jacobs is a hell of a lot better than Aaron Jones at this point in their careers, right? Like it's not even close. Mm-hmm. Josh Jacobs is like top 3, top 4 running back. Aaron Jones kind of drifted off toward the end of the year, battled some injuries, right? Fumble issues popped back up, that type of thing. So I just want to give Goody his flowers in this instance here. Like, hey, that was a solid move moving on. It was. Would love to have them both here, but anyway. So in terms of corner, we never answered Randy's question here. Do you go after corner in free agency or just draft 1 or 2? I think if Jai's not going to be on the roster, you need 3 corners. That's me personally. Okay. If Jai's going to be on the roster, you need 2 backup corners. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. And when I say backup corner, that doesn't mean you don't take one with the 23rd pick. The board and the draft needs, you don't draft by need. You do not draft by – the only time you draft by need is a cluster buster, in my opinion. If you've got a guy at a position that's hands down better than everyone else and you decide, hey, we don't want to take that position, you trade out of it, right? But you don't go in there and go, okay, yeah, these guys are 2 tiers lower and we got a cluster down here. Let's go ahead and reach and grab that because that's a need. That just doesn't happen. So if you draft one, that could be one of those backup roles. But guess what? At the 23rd pick, hell, even the 2nd round, you're going to be competing with Keyshawn Nixon to start. You're going to be competing with Javon Bullard to start in the slot. That competition is going to be on the table for me. So I just want to point that out. I personally think if Jai returns, we need 2 corners. If he doesn't return, we need 3. And that's, I think, personally, Randy, if we see Goody go out in free agency, right, which is going to happen before the draft, right, guys? Free agency is before the draft. I'm in a tunnel right now. I don't know what's going on. You're going to probably see him, if you see him go after a corner in free agency, more writing on the wall that Jai's probably going to get cut, if he hasn't already. So,
right, because it's March on the bottom there, March 10th, free agency negotiations start, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So by the 10th, we're going to kind of have an idea of where we're heading.
Yeah, because they'll need to cut him before free agency starts. So they'll at least have to designate him post June 1. So.
Right. Yep. So we'll at least have somewhat of an answer by the 10th, I would think, on Ja. But to Randy's question, I think it's going to be draft 1, maybe pick 1 up in UDFA.
See
we
that?
Still have Kalen King. You're still a little hopeful on that, but. Yeah, I think that we probably need to. I think they are just going to be through the draft, though. I'm not really seeing a lot of free agency moves unless Goody's got his eye on a sleeper or we get the cuts, right? Because all those cuts are coming up soon. So we'll see who's out there.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think corner in free agency is kind of slim pickings right now for sure. And I like what you said, Clay, too, like about the restructure, right? If you see a restructure, it probably points to Josh staying. And if they don't touch that contract, chances are he's going to be cut or traded. And then the next franchise can deal with restructuring. I don't think they're going to restructure him just to ship him off.
Yeah, definitely. And again, if we go after a free agent, there's 3 corners that have piqued my interest. DJ Reed from the Jets, Charvarius Ward from the Niners, and Kendall Fuller from, I think he was with the Dolphins, right?
Yep.
Now, if
That's
the projected
right?
what's that?
I mean, that's it, right? When you're talking corner.
Those are my 3 favorites personally. There's some people that like others, but that's just mine. Now, if you look at the projected market value, DJ Reed, $14.7 million, nah, not doing it. Okay. Cornerback Charvarius Ward, 15.3. If you're getting Charvarius Ward from a year ago, not last year, but the year before, it's worth every penny. But we don't know, right? The Kendall Fuller, they're projected at $7.5 million. That feels a lot more palatable. That's in that Keyshawn Nixon range, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I would be okay with any of those 3. I would just hope that DJ Reed, if you can get him closer to 10 or a little less, I'd be okay with that. But that 14.7, man, it's a little rich for me. So, all right, next question. Greg S. in the chat says, do you think college teams will start using game speed tracking technology to provide to scouts instead of having their players participate in the combine drills? I feel that's more useful information, but the NFL would hate if this happens. I think that makes all the sense in the world, which explains why they probably won't do it. You know what I mean? I want to know what we always talk about it. Tim, how many times have we talked about the underwear Olympic speed is not the same as football speed? Well, why not just use the GPS tracking of them actually on the field to know how fast they're running? You got all the info you need. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Especially leading into the draft, I mean, combine be damned. At the end of the day, these guys are all going to get timed again when they show up to OTAs and camp, right? So, I mean, whatever is the best way. I mean, we got to utilize technology to the best of our abilities when applicable. And it's 2025, man, right? Modern society, man. Like, it's there. Let's use it. Why are we still watching guys run around in their skivvies? Is beyond me, right?
Now that interviewing process, Emilio, that's where the value is. All right.
Exactly. That's why they want to be that one-on-one. That's why you want to see him in person. You can ask him those questions. You could get an answer from James Pierce, Mike Green, all those guys that, you may have quote unquote concerns about. You can figure that out there. I think that's completely fair. And I think to Greg's point, that's a great question. Why wouldn't you want to see the game speed? A lot of guys play better than they practice. You got practice card guys, right? And then you have gamers. Yep. I mean, that's what it is. Some people turn it up for the game. So
we're talking about practice, man. Practice.
Seriously.
Practice, man. Speaking of practice, Carly Ray talking about work over here. She said, I work in the ER 2 homes. I got to clear the helipad yesterday from a STEMI. Is that what that says? That came in 30 minutes before the end of my shift. I don't know what that is, but STEMI.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
STEMI sounds like one of Jacob's trademark moves at the office.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
Yo, rusty kneecaps. I know.
Rusty undercarriage. That was my favorite. Right? Broke me up that night. All right, let's go on to the chat with favorite draft prospects from our Patreon group here. Man, you guys lit it up this week. Appreciate y'all commenting in here. Chris N says, I'm at Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant, or Derek Harmon at 23. No other options. Get it done. All right. Let's look those 3 up real quick, Emilio. Starting at the top, these guys should be pretty easy to find, right? Walter Nolan. We have Walter Nolan, and I'm assuming, Chris, that's in the order that you would like to see him taken. Walter Nolan.
23.
Yeah, we have him at the 23 spot, right on the button, right? That makes all the sense in the world. Even more so than him, though, Kenneth Grant, we've got at 15. Have y'all changed? Has your all's opinion changed on that? On Kenneth Grant being that high? Because, we looked at that graphic where it was kind of showing he was a little less effective in terms of like pass rush win rate in college, that type of stuff. Or do you think we trust the board here and treat him like a top 15 pick? What y'all think?
I would say trust the board just because our head trifecta of scouts have him 18th for DJ, 12th for the 33rd, and 26th for Dane. And he got better consistently from 22, 23, 24. So I'm not mad at it. He's a little thick, right? He's 340. So for we're trying to replace TJ, not a bad move.
Thick.
versatility there to play the A gap. We uncovered that with him, didn't we, the other day?
Yep.
He was the only one of those top defensive linemen, Tim, that has significant amount of A gap, although he did play B gap, which is that 3-tech we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, Chris N nailed it here. I mean, these are like three of my favorites right there. Yeah. I like Nolan, I like Grant, and I like Harmon. I feel like Harmon might be a reach at 23, but Walter Nolan or Kenneth Grant certainly isn't if they're available. I think that's a run the card up auto draft, right? If they're on the board.
Yeah, and we have Derek Harmon in the 24 spot. He's the lowest of those three, but boy, he's in the same tier as Walter Nolan. So, what would you use in that case right there, Amelia? This is a great conversation here. What would you use as a cluster buster? Let's say Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon are both there, and you're going to pick one of those two. What would be your cluster buster?
Between Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon?
Yeah, like just in general. It doesn't have to be those players specifically. Like, what would you prioritize to go, okay, I'm going to take this guy over that guy? What do you think that would be?
If we're talking tackles, is he able to go inside? Can he be an A-gap presence? I think that could potentially be one. Does he meet our height or weight threshold? I think the physical threshold could be a buster. And then, I would say probably play count if we're looking for, a guy that's able to stay on the field and injury prone would be a couple of quick ones that you could go to. And then if we have to get down to the nitty gritty, we could start narrowing it down.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, like you were talking about injury history, Tim. I think that's huge, right? That, if you got one guy that stayed healthier than the other, you're probably going to lean toward the healthier guy. But combine drills, I would want to look for that quickness, athleticism, right? These are big guys. They're all big. Which one's showing the most quickness, the fastest foot speed, maybe that 10-yard split of the 40, maybe the agility drills, that type of thing. That's where you can use those as cluster busters as well. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure Goody's thinking the same way you are, for sure. We know he puts an emphasis on that, for sure. Like, I think that's good because, like you said, you're dealing with, 300-plus pound dudes. They got to be agile. They got to be light on their toes. They got to be able to move, Yeah,
definitely. Great question there, or Chris. Not really a question, but just comment, man. Thank you so much for that. I love those prospects. Next, you got Greg S. said DJ pointed out Willie Lampkin as a former wrestler. Here we go. We get our first one. Current center from UNC, who he projects to transition to edge, tight end, fullback type player. What are we talking about?
Really? I'm just trying to get the wrestler emoji for the guy.
Is it a current captain or current center? What's he talking about? Current captain, maybe? Because it says he projects to transition to edge, tight end, fullback type player. Who is Willie Lampkin? Is he on our board?
We have him on the board at 298. Willie Lampkin, IOL-guard, North Carolina, 207 consensus big board, and that's it.
So he's an offensive lineman.
That's what it looks like.
Guard, yeah, guard.
So put a former wrestler. Can you put the little strongman emoji up there? We can do it later. I'll make a note. Y'all gave me. I got to move hell and half of Georgia to get this list done over here. Y'all working me today.
Well, they have the wrestler. They have two wrestlers like wrestling each other, or they have a dude like lifting weights. What are we trying to do here?
I would rather have the dude lifting. I don't know. I'm thinking the emoji of two guys wrestling each other, Tim. That might go over the wrong way. What do you think? Just saying. It's a family program here.
Okay, so no man. Wrestler. I'm. What do we want? Just like
do the strong man, like the dude with the barbells,
Okay.
But is that really a wrestler though?
Well,
do we have like a luchador mask emoji or something like that?
Can we do Nacho Libre emoji?
Yeah. Is there any kind of mask? Type in mask on the emojis.
Okay.
That would be awesome if we could get like a Mexican luchador. You know what I mean? Lucha Libre. Up in here with the mask.
Let's see what we got here. There's like a
Mrs. Green. Look, this show sucks. It really
does. These masks aren't even an option, dude. I don't even. You might have to pull up. Someone needs to go into the emojis and there's a diving mask.
No, that's
closer. That's closer to a gas mask. We don't need that. We
might need that.
Talk about him as a player for a little bit, or are we just gonna?
I think we should use the the gas mask emoji for people who get in trouble, in honor of our boy that was smoking the giggle bush out of the gas mask.
Like that. I'm just gonna put the two wrestlers in there for now. We'll figure it out later.
That'll work.
Greg Rice said a guy in a singlet.
That would be great.
That's Jacob at his shift at the office.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So what's Fred McFarley talking about? 5'11", 290. Surely that's not the guy we're talking about, right?
Yes, it is. That's Willie
Lampkin. I wouldn't put it past him.
5'11"? Are we going to play that? He ain't going to meet any kind of threshold, is he? Still, he's a wrestler.
He played a lot of center in 2022, which is interesting. So he's strictly an interior guy. If you go back a little bit, played right guard a lot in 23 and 24, played a little left guard in 2023. But yeah, I mean, 5'11", 290, sub 6 feet, sub 300 pounds in the NFL on the O-line in the interior. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Carly Ray in the chat said, Clayton, you got to save some memorabilia for a posse member with the best 40-yard dash at draft after 5 daddy sodas. That needs to be the rule. You got to drink 5 daddy sodas, then run the 40-yard dash. Let's go. Or kids would be getting puked on. It'll be horrible.
That sounds like a problem.
Yeah. When you get this emoji in, I need to see it.
I'm trying. It's not even saving.
You seem too old for this comment.
Go ahead, hit it up there, Tim. Let's see it.
That's the size of a solid long snapper right there. If I ever seen one.
Everybody wants a long snapper.
I love it.
All right, thank you guys, everybody in the Patreon group. You're awesome. All right, if you want to join our Patreon group, join that awesome community. Just scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We got three different tiers in there. You get access to all the chats in there with just being a member, even the cheapest tier. And also it gets you, like I said, enter into contests as we do giveaways, things like that. So
also in the description of this episode, and hit the like and sub on the way.
There you go. You salesman, you look at you. All right. Emilio, who did you put? Where's he? It's Lampkin.
98.
98?
298.
Oh, I was like, dang. All right, shouty. 298.
Here's the guy.
298. Look at this. You got 2 emojis in there? Why you got 2 emojis?
Well, because the one of them didn't stay. Let me see if I can delete the one. I just wanted to see. Let me see if I can delete it, and it'll still. All right, we're good now. Phew, it wasn't saving earlier.
It don't look too fruity, right? We're good. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, looks like they're like kind of toe dancing, but it's all right.
He was the best guy around.
And I wrestled for 13 years. I mean, but
Jacob's wrestling for his life right now at the office. You kidding me?
You wrestling for them tips, man. Got to get the tips.
Oh, man. All right, so there you go. That's our wrestler emoji. I love it. You done good, Emilio. Thank you, sir.
Not a problem.
Thick.
That's correct. All right, what else do we got on this sucky show that we can do here for the last few seconds? Consensus Big Board. Let's go there real quick. I want to show you guys what we were talking about on the how they've got it set up with the combine now, so you can kind of see who's going to be at the combine. I think this is pretty important information. So if we go to all here, this is just the consensus big board. This is nobody's specific big board. Let me zoom in, maybe make it a little easier. So you'll notice now we've got the combine logo, right? You see it there? So those are the players that are going to be attending the combine. Now, I don't know if they're going to be doing every drill, but when you see a player that's ranked high that doesn't have that logo, kind of makes you question, all right, what's going on? Emilio, are you busy right now? Can you be ready to do a quick search of this person's name and combine to see if there's maybe something will pop up?
Oh, you're talking on like Google? Yeah.
Just a Google search. Yeah, be fine. So the first player or the highest ranked player, according to the consensus big board, who does not have the combine logo, let's see if we can figure out why they're not going to the combine. And you guys tell me if you notice me skipping one here that I might overlook. Caleb Johnson, is that our first? Nope, he's got it, don't he? Never mind. Spacing was off a little bit. So most of these guys looks like they are.
Well, it's going to be a good combine if we got all these people going to it.
Got, and I'm sure some will drop out. You know,
I was just going to say some of these I'll believe it when I see it.
Right.
You know,
this might be the initial invites too. Which
Charles Dan's going, William and Mary. Okay, APR's going. All right, I like it.
Yeah, let's see here. So we still don't have one
That's
yet.
going. Okay.
This is awesome, man. I hope every one of them show up. Like Tim said, though, I doubt
DJ West is gone. All right. I like to see that. Chase Lunt. All right.
that's coming up this week.
That's March 3rd.
Oh, Connor Colby. Wait, no, I saw one. Never mind.
Yeah, I know. The spacing is getting me too. Yeah. Let's see here.
I love this.
Wow. Oh, here we go.
Ross is going.
Simeon Barrow Jr., the 200th best prospect. He peaked at 105, though. Emilio, do a quick search. Simeon Barrow, Barrow Jr. and top combine, and see if the nothing pops up. You don't do too much digging. There should be something that says they weren't invited or can't attend or
was not invited. Likely due. Oh, he just said. Yeah, AI was just saying not likely invited due to his relatively low profile compared to other prospects, smaller school background. That doesn't make sense. Draft grade, first round pick. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, so nothing injury related, anything like that, right?
Not that I'm seeing. No,
it
looks like he
left school. Like is
right.
He considered a smaller school.
Exactly. He left Michigan State, it looks like, to go to Miami. But no, I'm not seeing anything on why he's not going.
All right, cool. I'll search RJ Oben from Notre Dame. Let's go combine, see what pops up for him. 5 biggest NFL scouting combine snubs of 2025, and he's one listed. So it looked like it was just a snub. There's nothing injury related there. So RJ Oben peaked at 194, edge defender from Notre Dame. He was at the Senior Bowl. He's sitting at 205. He did not get invited to the combine. We'll look at a couple more here. We've got a couple more minutes. We'll try to at least get the top ones here. So here we got Caden Pricecorn.
Who?
I have no idea, Snoop. CADN PRIESKORN, Emilio. He's a tight end from Ole Miss. See if we have any injury-related stuff there on him.
Let's see. Not seeing anything.
Nothing combine-related?
No, has value late in the draft.
So just didn't get invited, sounds like, right?
Combine snub, Caden Pinkerton. It was great to see. Let's see. This is from All Access Football. Yeah, looks like he just got snubbed.
Okay, got it. Good stuff. Jarrell Lee with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Is Trey Harris going to the combine cornerback or D line in the first?
Trey Harris?
He's
asking, wide out.
Yeah, is Trey Harris going to the combine? And then I think he's saying go cornerback or D line in the first.
Okay.
So, yeah, Trey Harris, I imagine, is. So where do we end at here? 220? We're at 220. Let me slide up real quick. I'm sure Trey Harris is going to the combine, right? I mean, he's one of the top.
We have the
top 100, right?
51st on our board.
Yeah.
Yeah, he peaked at 38 on the consensus big board, sitting at 44 right now. He will be at the combine. Now, again, Jarrell, we don't have all the information. I'm assuming he's doing all the drills. There's some of these guys that will choose to not do certain drills, right, that they think it might hurt their draft stock. But great question, though, man. And, yeah.
Corner or D-line in the first. I say D-line. Let's go.
Yeah, for me, it's whatever's best on the board. You know, you guys know I'm very boring in that regard. The board says, you know, the cornerback's better, then take the corner. I don't think you can go wrong with either position. But if you got a cluster there, right, and you got 2 players in the same tier, D-line and corner, you guys know I'm going D-line. It's a more important position in my opinion. So, yeah, I think we did enough of that combine search there, Emilio. We kind of
that's cool. I like it. I'm excited to see the scores.
Yeah, me too. And we're going to try to do some live streaming. Tim, how come we had a schedule here? Here we go. Bang. Right? Yeah. It's kind of hard to see. I can't zoom in any further. But, and again, Jarrell, thank you so much for that super chat, bub. We appreciate you, man. All right, so Sunday, February 23rd, this Sunday, right? Sunday. Yeah.
I love that.
You'll pay for
not a swap meet or a drag race. We're talking player schedule here.
You'll pay for the whole seat. You'll only need the edge. Place kicker, defensive line, and linebacker. All right. Those are the early player arrivals on Sunday, February 23rd. So the place kickers, defensive line, and linebackers will show up on Sunday the 23rd. correct?
So Packer fans, pay attention to D-line and linebackers.
Yes, sir. Why would we not pay attention to place kicker, Tim?
Because we're going to re-sign McMoney, man. Give him the bag. Let's go.
What is the cap? How much would you say that's the most I'm willing to sign Brandon?
I am not the guy to ask that question to. Give him the bag. I don't
slap
care.
a franchise.
Buy him a new Maserati too, whatever he wants. I don't care.
They got a Maserati dealership in Green Bay, you think?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. You can get those foreign cars up here. I mean, how do you think the players get all their cool rides, man? They got to have something cool to ride around Titletown in, you know?
All right. Monday, February 24th. All right. What's going to happen is the place kickers, defensive line, and linebackers will have registration, pre-exam, orientation, and team interviews. So hopefully on Monday, as early as Monday, we'll start getting information trickle out of if the Packers met with certain guys at the combine, right? That's going to be really, really cool. And keep in mind, we're going to throw the cheese emoji up for anyone that they meet with, just like we have up to this point. And then when we do the top 30 visits, that will be differentiated with an emoji on the draft board as well. Right, Emilio? We'll do something special.
Yeah, we were thinking about the Target one with the arrow on it or something if they're top 30. Just because that narrows it down. We're going to have a lot of cheese, which we want to know who they've talked to throughout the process, just to keep that. Because it's all going to come into play when we go to the horizontal board, right, Clay? We're going to, once we get them horizontally in stacks, we want to have all that, basically that cell with their name, their position, and what school they're from. Anything else, East West Shrine, bowls, cheese, targets, all that's going to be in one. Then we can move them around later on. But yeah, we're going to have a target for anything 30 and under. And then if they hit all the criteria, we were talking either maybe change their text, change the, the box color, give them another emblem or something. But I'm glad that we get to add our first wrestler today. I appreciate that. And like I said, if anybody finds a list of captains, we need to get that in here as well.
We need a Captain American emoji or something.
No, nice.
Yeah. All right. So on Monday, February 24th, you've got the DBs and the tight ends early arrival on that day, as well as those team interviews with the place kicker, defensive line, and linebacker. So on Tuesday, February 25th, there will be the general medical exam. I get emotional over that. Pre-ordered, what's that say? Pre-ordered studies? Is that what that says? Pre-ordered studies.
I don't know. I'm not a.
So there'll be more team interviews for the place kicker, defensive line, and linebackers. Now, on that same day, the defensive backs and tight ends, who the day before had their early arrivals, they will do their registration, pre-exam, orientation, team interviews. So keep in mind, these are kind of cascaded, right? The DBs and tight ends will be one day behind the place kicker, defensive line, and linebackers, all right? And then, of course, the running backs, quarterbacks, and wideouts on Tuesday will do their registration and their first wave of team interviews, all right? So on Wednesday the 26th, that's when it looks like the drills will actually start for the kickers, defensive line, and linebackers. So on Wednesday, you'll have more media. You'll actually have media interviews there, right? You guys remember last year how Caleb Williams kind of got picked apart in that media interview, right? You'll have those taking place. You'll have the kicking workout, the NFL Players Association meeting, and team interviews there for the place kickers. And then, of course, one day behind will be the DBs and tight ends. Running backs, quarterbacks, and wideouts will be 2 days behind. And then the offensive line will show up and start doing team interviews on that day as well. All right. On-field workout for defensive line and linebackers will start Thursday, it looks like. You'll have the measurements there as well, okay? And then, of course, the offensive line, every position group's already in. It's just 1 day behind. So the on-field workouts will actually start on Thursday. We'll start to see that NFL Network coverage. So what we'll probably shoot for is maybe Thursday do some kind of live stream, although it is going to be D-line and linebacker. That would be a fun one to do. We'll see if we can work out some kind of live stream, if at all possible. And on Friday, the D-line and linebackers will do their bench press, broadcast interviews, and they'll go ahead and leave Indianapolis. So I like that they're spreading that out a little bit too. It seems like Friday will have the most information, as you'll have the bench presses going on, and that's after the on-field workouts for the D-lines and the linebackers. And then at that same day, you'll have the on-field workouts for the DBs and tight ends. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's going to stretch into the weekend. So we got a lot of stuff coming. This is a busy week, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun covering this. So we'll keep an eye on and we'll explain in real time too what we think our favorite or most important combine drills are, that type of stuff. Like when I'm looking at a defensive lineman, I've seen the tape. I know what they can do on the field. I want to see how quick they are laterally. I want to see some of that lateral agility, that type of stuff with those big boys. So, yeah, there you go. Anything else you guys want to add to this schedule before we wrap up here, man?
Nothing exciting that Tim, it's exciting that it's coming up fast, right? I mean, it's crazy that like the Super Bowl happened, seemed like a month and a half ago now, and we're already onto the draft. We're ready to get going. And like you were talking about earlier, the draft is coming. Combine is on its way. Draft is coming.
Yep. Time flies when you're having fun, right? It's about that time. So I'm assuming we're just going to have NFL Network on in the background in perpetuity, just kind of keeping an eye on things. Or
I think so, yeah. And here's what's cool: if we do an evening show, whenever we decide to do a live stream, we'll kind of bring you guys the numbers in real time as they come in and just have fun with it. Kind of like we did the Senior Bowl, just be a little bit extended. If we can make that, I feel like Saturday is probably going to be the best time to do that because that stuff will be happening during the day. But if we're doing an evening show all week long, we'll be able to give you updated numbers. We'll kind of talk about who shined at each position and each drill and that type of thing. One thing I do want to put more light on, though, that we didn't. As soon as we made this graphic of Emilio signing this executive order here for no more rigged Chief games, you guys notice they didn't get the calls in the Super Bowl? I'm just saying. And Emilio, I do need to request that if you're going to dye your hair blonde like that,
get the roots, man. You got to get
the eyebrows too, man. You got to get the eyebrows.
The eyebrows, dude. I forgot, honestly.
You look like one of Jacob's coworkers up at the office. Didn't put a whole lot of effort into that. So,
it's
right,
a wig.
I'm not saying they're the worst eyebrows, but there's better eyebrows. There are better eyebrows.
This show sucks. Drill Lee, thank you for the $2, man. I don't know why you wasted the $2, but thank you for the $2. Mm-hmm. We appreciate you more than you know, man. We're going to split up that $2, and Emilio's going to go buy him another one of them shirts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's going to give me the energy to put up the new draft board. Appreciate it.
There it is. Hey, that's it. Your 75 cents. Right? There it is. Go get to work, buddy. You got no excuses now. Thank you all, everybody in the Patreon group, everybody in the chat. Y'all are awesome tonight. We will see you tomorrow for PTA Live at 7 p.m. Central. All right, we're going to tone back the broadcast a little bit, the live streams, just because there's not a whole lot going on. And I ain't going to lie, man, it's been kind of nice sleeping in a little bit. So
thank you. I've been trying to tell you this from the beginning, bro. I don't get it.
No more of Tim looking like that, crawling down the steps with his cup of coffee. Do that when All right, we're out, guys. Thank y'all so much. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Have a great evening.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.